reason I want to walk through what I do is that's usually different than what other people do. Brad Yates and I have a complete program called Money Beyond Belief. I think it's at moneybeyondbelief.com. It's all about tapping away limiting beliefs about money. But the way he does it is different than what I'm doing. So I start here, and even though I don't know what I'm going to say when I'm on stage, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Key words. And I do it 3 times. Even though I don't know what I'm going to say, or I'm nervous about speaking on Larry King, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I don't know what to say, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. After I do it 3 times, I only take the fear-based belief, even though I'm afraid. And I go to my crown chakra. I go right to here above my eyebrows inside, even though I'm afraid. I go on the outside, even though I'm afraid. Even though I'm afraid. And I tap hard enough, it's like tapping on somebody's door. I'm hitting fairly hard. So I'm under here, even though I'm afraid. I go under the nose, even though I'm afraid. Right above or under the lip, even though I'm afraid. Then I come down here. There's a little soft spot in here, tender. Even though I'm afraid, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. And I'll come down and I'll do it right here between the thumb and the first finger, even though I'm afraid. And if I still want to do another one, I can just repeat it and go through the whole thing. Make sense? Yeah. So I use it as a clearing technique. And again, I use it virtually every day for something. So another thing that I learned to do was to question beliefs. And this is the core of my own coaching program. Some of you are in Miracles Coaching. If you're curious about it, go to miraclescoaching.com and you can learn all about my coaching program. But part of what's at the core of that program is hooponopono, because everybody needs to, when I say that, you have to understand that I'm really talking about myself. It's not that everybody in the world needs to do hooponopono. I need to do hooponopono. I'm enough of an author and a marketer that a part of my brain is always thinking that I need to get this out. The book, Zero Limits, would never have been written had I not had that mentality. And so none of you would be here if I didn't have that mentality of telling Dr. Hulen, this is powerful material. It needs to be shared. Can I write the book? And at first, he said no. And then he said he was writing a book with somebody else. The other person ended up dropping the ball, and Dr. Hulen came back to me, and he said, okay, Divine says you can do it. So when I say that I'm doing hooponopono and I think the whole world should do it, that's the part of my brain that is still thinking like a marketer and wanting everybody out there to get it. But the advanced hooponopono training is realizing nobody else needs to get it. Only me. Only me. So the core of Miracles Coaching is hooponopono. I have the coaches saying that to themselves as they work with the clients. But another thing that we're doing is questioning beliefs. I learned a belief questioning method in 1985 that I still use, though I've adapted it today, and it's called the option method or the option process. Anybody know what that is? Nobody. Okay. And that was from Barry Neil Kaufman, who was very famous at that time. They made a movie about him. They made a movie about his child because his child was born autistic. And he used his very own questioning method to work on his own beliefs, he and his wife's beliefs, Susie's beliefs, about their child. And they ended up totally loving their child, totally accepting their child, and they were the first to mirror their child. So if the child would sit there, the autistic child, and just kind of spin, they'd sit there and spin. They would mirror what the child was doing, and they did it for 7 years, 12 hours a day. They took turns. Their child's no longer autistic. At this point, he's fully grown and everything, and this was quite a while back. But he wrote a book called To Love is to be Happy With. It's worth reading. To Love is to be Happy With. And he does talk about the narration that they do, but it's basically a way of questioning beliefs. I sometimes call it the Socratic method, because Socrates was always known for not telling you something, but asking you. It's like the question we always hear about. It's in the Miracle? You would know. That's right. It's great to have your editor here because she can say, hey, that's in your book. I don't remember. I got too many books. People will ask me about my books, and I go, I haven't read that one since I wrote it. So it's in the Miracle, the story of Barry Neil Kaufman and the questioning method. So it's in the Miracle. But basically, when you have a question or you have a belief, you question the belief. You can begin with, do you actually believe that belief? And you can, just by questioning your belief, end up saying, no, I don't believe that. You can be done with it. But you question it long enough to make it evaporate. If you do say, I do believe what you're saying to yourself, now you ask, why? What is your evidence for your belief? And it's a way to play a loving detective and to dismantle your belief by finding the evidence that probably isn't yours. You probably heard it from somebody else, probably your parents, but it didn't have to be your parents. It could have been any authority figures. It could have been from religion, school teachers, neighbors, people you played with, other parents. It could be in the culture. You know, we're in the U.S. here, and every time I go somewhere else, whether it's Russia or Peru or Bermuda or just Italy, Poland, whatever, they all have built-in beliefs in their culture. You don't usually notice your own beliefs until you go to another culture, and then you go, oh, they don't believe that. Who were we talking to the other day that were saying, I think it was you, in your country, when they call on kids in the school, they go by their first name. But everywhere else in the planet that we're aware of, like in the U.S., they call on you from your last name. Because I was complaining, I do a lot of complaining, I was complaining that my last name with the Vitality with V, they're calling me last. You know, unless there's somebody here with a Z last name. That was you, yes. So he'd be called on after me. But in your country, they start with the A's. I also noticed that in Russia, in this country, when we get on the planes and first class goes on the plane first, in Russia, first class goes on the plane last. And so we have these built-in beliefs that none of us question, but they could be limitations in our lives until we look at them. So questioning beliefs is one of the other things that I like to do. I meditate every day. And I was talking about this a little bit yesterday. I hope you'll laugh, but I do what's called the cigar meditation. Somebody said they like that. That's cool. Yeah. And the cigar meditation is, we're in the country where we live, and I do have this deck that's up in the trees, and there's squirrels and everything playing around, and deer below walking around. And as long as I don't take my phone or my iPad out there, it's me and the nature. And one of the reasons that I get to stay there for 10 to 20 minutes is that I have a cigar. It's my gratitude moment, it's my relaxation, and it's my being receptive to inspiration. And there have been many times when Caroline and Chuck and I have meetings on Mondays, and we'll come up with some things that are issues, and they need some answers. And they look to me for the answers, for the most part. And I'll say, I'll need to have a cigar for that one. I'll take that up with my cigar meditation. And I do. I'll have the intention like, okay, I got to make a decision here, or there's an issue that we have to look at, or I need to resolve something, or I need to create a product, whatever it happened to be. And I ask divinity to come and resolve it. But I have to make myself available to receive the answer. And I suppose at some point in time, I'll just put the cigar aside and just sit there and just receive. But the cigar helps me stay there. So I'm not endorsing cigar smoking for all of you. I'm just saying find your own way to make time to receive. Find your own way. 10 minutes a day. We are so busy. We're so bombarded with everything, whether it's, the internet and all these other things that come around to distract us, that we need to make time. And I'm watching time here because we've got some great speakers coming. So yesterday I told you about the Ha meditation. And when Guitar Monk Matthew and I were up here, and we were playing music, I had you all do the Ha meditation. I never did ask you, did that go well for you? You able to do that easily? Yeah. And wonderful, great. And so when you were holding your fingers like this is called a mudra, M-U-D-R-A. And I usually wear reading glasses when I go places anymore. And I remember going into a bookstore, one of those new age bookstores, and they had a little booklet there, and it said murder training. And I said, what is murder training doing what is murder training doing anywhere in the world? And I put my glasses on, and it was mudra training. And I thought, I need to wear my glasses all the time. Ugh. Anyway, there are lots of other kinds of mudras. So that was just one of them. And I was inspired one day to get this deck of cards that are called mudra cards. And there is a different mudra on every card. And there is a different reason for the mudra, because they're used for different cleaning tools. Some are meditation, some are cleaning family. There's all kind of reasons for them. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool, stealing Chuck Pennington's line, wouldn't it be cool? It's his favorite thing to say. And I love saying it. When you want to create something in your life, just say, wouldn't it be cool if everybody can have one of these, not the whole deck, but a card out of the deck. Wouldn't it be cool if each one of you just took a card, and whatever card you took was appropriate for you in this moment, and you used that mudra today, just for 5 minutes or so, as a type of meditation. And you can tie it to, there's a description on it that it tells you how to do, it tells you how to, there's the photo, it'll tell you how to hold your hands. And I'm just going with inspiration, because inspiration said, get it. And then inspiration even now says, pass them out, and which I guess I'm going to do. Would you mind taking this and just making sure everybody gets one? There's 70 of them, so everybody should get one easily. And again, what you're doing here is with the Ha meditation, which is a Hawaiian meditation, and with this connecting of the energy, is that you're centering yourself, you're doing the breathing, which in some kind of ways is to distract your mind, your conscious mind. What Dr. Steve Jones last night was talking about is that monkey mind. That mind that is criticizing you, the mind is distracting you, the mind is coming up with all the questions, the mind that Dr. Hulen says is so full of bullshit, in his words. You know, it's the mind of data. And what we want to do is go past it. Just take whatever card pretend it's a magic trick, shuffle the deck, pull a card, that's your card. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just trust that that's the moment for you. So before we go into that, because we'll take 5 minutes or so to do it, do you have questions for me based on anything that's happened? And
it's just a comment, but it's so cool that you're using the mudra cards for meditation. That's one of my methods. Is every day I get out my mudra cards and I just ask the universe to have me pick the one I need. Exactly what you're doing here today.
Yes.
It's so cool. But I do that every day to help
Awesome.
me. And I meditate on that particular
one.
And you'll get the one that you need.
And that's what I feel as well. You're going to get the one that you need. Let me show you while those are getting passed around. Oh, there was another question. Did you have a question or comment? Yes.
Can you talk about when you've added for us the fifth phrase? Do you then use all 5 together, or do you use it differently?
I use it all 5 together, and sometimes it really depends on the inspiration, depends on the moment. I try not to be so rigid to think this is like the 10 Commandments. You got to do it exactly this way. Not that at all. More often than not, I use the I love you phrase, which our Apple friend over there has learned to use at work. That's what I use more often than not. But there are times when I feel like I'm struggling with an issue or a belief or a situation. I need the full artillery. And I'll just say to myself, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I forgive myself. I'll go through all of them. And sometimes I'll just do the I forgive myself.
Yeah, it felt like once you introduced that one, it encompasses all of them.
In many ways it does. Yeah, that's a great observation. She's saying that when you say, I forgive myself, you're kind of covering all of the other phrases. When you think about it, it's all in there. But again, I want you to go with your inspiration. That's very much what Advanced Hooponopono is about. And I end both Zero Limits and At Zero about you being your own guru. And Dr. Hulen, especially with Zero Limits, said he loved that ending line. The goal is for you to be your own guru, do your own contact with here, and your own phrases. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Has everybody gotten a card? Are they still going around? They're still going around over there. So what I was going to show you is there's something called bibliotherapy. Does anybody know what that is? Bibliotherapy. Of course you would know what that is. You know everything. Dr. Mary is something else. And you're going to be hearing from her next, right? Don't worry, I'll get off the stage soon. So with bibliotherapy, what you're doing is you can do it a couple ways. You can hold a question that you would like to have, ask the universe, ask divinity, ask the great something. You hold the question and you just pick up a book Flip through it and stop wherever you stop and let your finger drop. And whatever you read is your answer. And in fact, don't doubt it. You actually assume this is my answer. And if it doesn't instantly make sense, sit with it as if it was a code. So you can do it when you have a question, and you can do it just for inspiration.
Can you say that again, how you do that? You pick up any book?
Yeah, any book. You're following inspiration with all of this. And I'm just going to do it right here. I'm just going to flip it open. Okay, so I turn to page 31. So you have all the emotion coming up. Your vibration is coming up, and your thought has laser focus going right to what you want. All of those are working together, and then you notice what shows up. Do you have counter thoughts? Do you have thoughts that say, yeah, but how is this going to happen? We want to get rid of the how thought. We want to get rid of the how thought. That seems very meaningful.
Seems fit to the moment.
Yeah. You want to get rid of the how thought. And you are exactly right. It is fitting to the moment. Because some people might be going, how did this mudra stuff work? Why am I getting this whatever card you got? Why did I get this card? Man, we're overthinking it. And we're trying to figure out the how. If you think to my presentation yesterday and that bizarre movie I saw, Everything and Nothing, we don't know shit about anything. They don't know when the world started. They don't know how it's colossal in size. Every grain of sand on the planet is a planet and a sun out there in some sort of incomprehensible. We don't know anything. It's fun to try to find out, right? It's fun. It's like a detective story. Where did it all start? Where's it all going? How's it all work? That's what makes the movies. That's what entertains us. But we get caught up in the drama, and we get caught up in the needing to know how, the needing to know why. And then we get frustrated, we get angry, we fight with each other. My way is the right way, your way is the right way, or wrong way. And we clash, and we keep forgetting it's all a frickin' movie. Cut! Let's do the scene over. Where are we at with the mudra cards? Still coming around the corner. Is there any other questions or comments? Any bullshit questions or any loving comments? Which is it?
It's just, where do you find a New Age bookstore these days?
They are still around. When I was in Vancouver, I was filmed for a movie in November or something in there. And they were bragging about their bookstore. And they said, oh, we have one of the best bookstores on the planet. And Spaniard books, something like that. And I went there. I spent 4 hours there.
Yeah.
Do you know that bookstore?
No, but I've spent 2 hours in a bookstore.
Yeah, well, I love bookstores. I love bookstores. That is one of my favorite places in the whole world to go relax. Those are my friends. I'm a book nerd at heart, Okay, where are we at with the cards? Don't study the cards. Just take one, pass it on. Trust that what you have. Has everybody had a chance to look at your card? Do you have a sense of what your hand position is supposed to be? And we're just going to do this for a couple minutes, and I want to make time for Dr. Mary to set up and do her presentation because I want to see that too. Beautiful. Looks like they've all gone around. Thank you very much. Oh, thanks. Okay, everybody have a card? Everybody know how to make your position on that card? And I would suggest that you're just, because I don't know what your cards are, I'll just do this one. Make your position, put it in your lap, and then close your eyes and do these 7 rounds of 7-second breathing. Counting in to the count of 7 at your own pace, breathing in, then holding it for 7, releasing for 7, holding for 7, cycle through 7 times while you hold your hand position. And go ahead and do that now. I love this quote in the beginning of Zero Limits. I've always loved it. It's from the book called The User Illusion, which Dr. Len always loved too. And the quote is, "The universe began when nothing saw itself in the mirror." The universe began when nothing saw itself in the mirror. Chew on that. Well, divinity says I should get off the stage. Thank you. I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you. Each of you is radiating love. I don't know if you consciously know it or not, but I can see in your eyes, your physical being, yeah, you're radiant. You're radiant. It's coming out of your beings. Your vibration from the law of attraction standpoint is skyrocketed. Your vibe is way up. I would say, carry this out into the world. Share it with each other. I'm wearing a shirt that says, "Be nice," but this is beyond being nice. This is like unconditional love to the universe, unconditional love to each other. Always remembering that really you just have to love yourself. When you feel that internal love, whether it's from the statements, "I love you," that you keep repeating, or any other phrase that gets you there, that's what I think we want to carry in each moment, with the awareness that this moment is the miracle. This is the miracle. Thank you for sharing the miracle with me.
Thank you.